Welcome back to The Middle Ground. I'm your host, Key, and we're reporting live from the Honey Queen Juice Bar. Entrepreneurship, very important, right? I think we all can agree the importance of entrepreneurship, but oftentimes we find that there are stigmas surrounding Black businesses. A lot of those stigmas oftentimes are negative, right? Unfortunately, but I'm sure we've all had our varying experiences when it comes to Black businesses. So let's just jump right in. Firstly, what are some of the stigmas that are surrounding Black-owned businesses that you've heard or may have personally experienced, and do you find those stigmas to be true?
Okay, well, I'm gonna go because this is what I hate about people that go to Black businesses, right?
Or what are some stigmas you've heard?
Stigmas I've heard. So, well, I'm gonna just give my example.
Okay.
Or like with my friends. Say we go to a Black business and like it's a restaurant, like let's just say we had a bad experience at Service Spoon is Black owned, right? Service Spoon? Okay, so like say we have a bad experience there. I'll have a friend with me. That's why I hate supporting Black business or whatever. Cause like say we had a waitress that was rude. Why do Black people, our people always say, I'm not supporting Black businesses just because they have one or two? They can have 3 bad experiences and say, no, I'm not going back to a Black experience. I mean, Black owned, company, business. But how many times do we go to Walmart, Target, these white owned places, and they fuck up every time? We ringing up our own stuff in self-checkout. It's like we deal with a rude cashier, and do we put our stuff back? No, we need it, so we're gonna get it, right?
Right.
And even if you had a bad experience, you could have had 5 bad experiences at Target. Are you ever gonna stop going to Target? Let's be real. No. You're not.
No.
So why can't you give that Black-owned business who has limited resources, not as much resources as Target, and maybe not the same training, and people they might have just been given a chance to. So like, say they given a chance to the person that just, I don't want to be statistic, like a person that really doesn't have much experience, but they gave them a chance because they're Black, or and like maybe
pity them.
Not pity them, but like, okay, like say it's a Black-owned business that gives brothers on parole that couldn't get
some type of program, like an incentive.
Yeah, and say they aren't like as professional and they're working on it. So me and my friends go to this business and they shame this man.
Right.
This man trying to get it together.
Right.
He can't, Target would have denied him.
Right.
But he's here.
Right.
We need to give our own places of business a chance, is what I'm saying.
Times and times again, we done had bad experiences at white companies, But when we go, I don't know, it's something with our programming. When we go to a Black business and then we have that experience, and then it's like, damn, you know what I mean? Like, these Black businesses, you know what I'm saying? We kind of lump them in, like, you know what I mean?
Well, I want to go back to the beginning because first we have to list the stigmas. Nobody ever lists the stigmas. And I know some of the most common ones is Black-owned businesses are always late. The customer service is always bad. The people in there have a negative attitude. They act like they don't want to be there. They act like they're doing you a favor, even though you're supporting their business.
Right.
We've heard that Black businesses, the quality might be poor, but it might be overpriced. So basically, basic quality or poor quality at a exuberant or crazy price. So these are some of the most popular ones that I've heard. And in my personal experience, I have to say that Black businesses, all in all, have actually been very professional in my experience. And I know that may shock a lot of people. Have there been a few that have been a little ridiculous? Yes, they have. But me, I don't go into things because I feel like I have an unbiased view towards Black people. I give us the benefit of the doubt in fairness in all scenarios. So I try to go into things which is like you said, if I've experienced trash service from Walmart, from Target, all these places, if I can go back and patronize these businesses, I can absolutely let, a very well-known restaurant that I won't name, but that is known for their, customer service. Or like I'll still go back and support these businesses because, like you said, if I can give this business a pass, I can just say, oh, maybe this person was having a bad day, or maybe, especially if they have quality, because that's another thing. A lot of Black-owned businesses normally have exclusive products that you can't really find anywhere else, like at the Honey Queen Juice Bar right here in Lower Park. Drop. But a lot of black-owned businesses, they have exclusive products that you can't find anywhere else because they're coming directly from local entrepreneurs and from creatives. So those are the plus sides. But that's what I found, is that my experiences by and large have actually been positive. But I do find, what you said, is that when we have one negative experience with a black-owned business, we do immediately shame it.
Try to write it off.
Immediately write it off, and it's just like, it isn't fair that we do that. And I think that comes from that internalized self-hate.
And I think what we need to focus on too is actually forgiving each other.
Compassion.
As a whole. Yeah,
Absolutely.
because like you said, we're all human. We go through things, and sometimes we need to give our black businesses a chance, even if we have one or a few bad experiences, because even
there's other businesses that be late too.
All the time.
Late, poor products, overpriced products. Like it's like we take on the identity that, it's just only us or only we do it, but it's like, that's not true. Like, these are things that happen at other businesses as well, and I feel like once we realize that it's more normal than we think, then we won't look at it as a black thing, and we won't, ostracize ourselves because of it.
Yeah.
What about you, Shanice? What you think?
I would definitely agree with what you're saying. I think it's sometimes it can feel like a self-fulfilling prophecy if you have a bad experience out of a black business, because it's like, this is what you've been told that your experience is gonna be, and so then when it happens, you're like, look, see, and you were kind of like waiting for that, and it's just like, and then like you all said, like if it happened somewhere else, you would probably still go. So I think there's something to just making sure you're extending that grace. We are all human. Like, I agree with everything you all said. And at the end of the day, like what we're trying to do is really hard. Like, as black businesses and entrepreneurs, it's really, really difficult. Like, so the fact that we're already breaking generational cycles and things of that nature, it's like, just for that, like, I'm not saying, give any extra special treatment that or whatever. Like, yeah, expect professionalism, expect that your money is gonna go to what you are spending it on, and expect, good treatment. But at the same time, know that, like, there is someone on the other side. Like, it's a person. It's not just like an entity. Yeah, like you're talking to a person. That could be someone's mother, someone's brother, someone's friend, and I think when someone steps from behind the counter, then it's almost a different feel sometimes. Like, this is a person, and I think it's easier to extend grace when you're just talking person to person. But when it's like behind an email or someone's like, behind a counter, it feels different. So I think, like, it's just important that people realize that, we are all human, and if I step from around this counter, it might be a different conversation.
Yes, feistiness. Okay, so I'm glad we were able to discuss, obviously, this as being an issue, but how do we, with us being movers and shakers of change, how do we put ourselves in the driver's seat and do something different in these scenarios? When we are faced with a less than stellar experience at a black business, how would you guys do the reverse of what we commonly do? Like, what would be the solution in that scenario?
Personally, I think there's something to be said about just like pulling someone to the side. Like, as with anything, it's like, before you go and blast a business for like whatever the case, like, did you try to address it? Like, number one, because there could be a simple misunderstanding, so I think, did you try to address it with the person? And then if they didn't do anything, did you go to the manager? Did you like, there's always levels to things before you have to go and like, because really, like, because someone might have had a bad day, you could then go and potentially like have a bad impact on their business that they're trying to build. That's really hard work, so I think just trying to do and that goes back to having the grace, like trying to take these steps. So addressing it one-on-one, then if it has to get to a bigger thing, then also being willing to stand your ground as a consumer too, because that's important. Like, let's be honest, you also, if
want good service.
Exactly, like,
yes.
so yeah.
Yes.